So unfortunately, I missed the first 2 minutes of this episode, and normally that wouldn't really be a big problem for me in a TV show, but in this show, it definitely is a big problem because I fucking love this show. What's up, you guys? This is One Classic Gamer here, and I'd like to welcome you to Better Call Saul, Season 3, Episode 4. This is my review, my thoughts. As always, if you have not seen this episode, I'm going to be spoiling it, so yeah, watch it. Do that, and then come back. So, yeah, these are my thoughts on this episode. What do I think about this episode? Unsurprisingly, this was a really good episode. I'm telling you guys, there's never an episode of the show that I'm disappointed in. Every single one of these reviews, you're going to hear me talk about how much I love this show. But why did I like this episode? Well, the reason why I loved this episode was because this one focused more on Gus, well, mostly on Gus. Like the first 30 minutes of it is um, centered around Gus, and it also has Mike in it too. There's some Jimmy in this episode, but not a whole lot. And when Hector just storms into Los Pollos Hermanos and is like, I need to see Gus. I want to see Gus. And he's like, sir, you can't let us see it. Like, he's like being an asshole, like a jackass. I'm just like, wow, Hector, you're such a savage. Now, I missed the first 2 minutes, so I wasn't quite sure what was going on in the first scene, like the scene before the credits. All I could really piece together is that it's a flashback, obviously. Hector's not in charge yet. There's someone else in charge. He brought money, and it's like to give to the guy, the boss, and there's another like businessman that brings money to give to this dude. And this dude that's was in charge at the time, is an asshole, and he is just fucking coming in on Hector like hardcore. He's like, "What's that? You don't have as much money as it?" Like he's being a dick to Hector, and it's interesting because it's like it shows that it shows Hector going through the exact same arc that Gus went through. Hector was this guy's bitch, and then eventually Hector came in charge, like got in charge, and then Gus became Hector's bitch. And it's one of those things where it's like it shows that in the world of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, there's always gonna be someone who takes the place of the leader and kills him and assumes the leadership position. So I mean, it's a cool arc and a cool like story bit in there. So yeah, there's that, and Hector basically he's pissed off because Mike destroyed his cargo shipments. Or he didn't destroy it, like he attacked another one of his cargo shipments. So he goes into Los Pollos Hermanos. He starts smoking cigarettes, all that sort of shit. And then Gus is like off at like the fucking like firefighters, like the fire station, like I don't know what he was doing, like donating to them or something like that. I have no idea. Maybe they ordered like chicken, like they ordered food from Los Pollos Hermanos or some. I don't even know what was going on there, but it was pretty funny because it's like you got these guys who are technically officers of the law who have no idea that Gus is like secretly this drug kingpin. It's so fucking funny. But he gets the call from his employee. He's like, I'm holding something in my hand. Sorry about that. He gets the call from his employee. He's like, yeah, you need to come here. And so he goes there and basically he tells the employees to leave. And then he has a conversation with Hector. A pretty good conversation because you can tell that Gus just wants to fucking murder this guy. And Hector is like a dick. He's like, he has his foot up on the desk. He's like scraping the shit like from like at the bottom of his shoe onto his desk and shit. He's being an asshole. He's like, I am the cartel and all that, like being an asshole to him. And it's it was pretty great stuff because you could see that sort of by the end of this episode when Gus is like having his conversation with Mike, he is ready to just fucking not kill Hector, but do something really bad, like take him out of the game. And again, I don't quite know what's gonna happen because it's one of those things where it's like Hector he's not paralyzed yet at this point in the show. So is Gus gonna like hire Mike to do something really bad, like paralyze Hector, so that he like and take him out of the game completely. It's pretty cool. It's just interesting to think about how they're gonna do this, how they're gonna do that. We got to see some Nacho in this episode, not a whole lot though, just a little bit of him. Which I like his character. He is an intriguing character. But yeah, I focused a lot around Gus, and he gave that really convincing speech to his employees, which they believed him because Gus is like a, a really good liar too, and just great shit there. And then Jimmy hires Mike to. This scene was so funny. Jimmy hires Mike to actually break into uh, Chuck's house and take pictures of like shit. Like I guess to like I don't know what he's planning yet. I guess it's to sort of like make Chuck look bad, and he hires Mike like because basically Jimmy kicked Chuck's door down like in episode 2. So he hires Mike to be like the door repair guy, and then it's so funny because it's like Chuck has that whole condition with electricity. And Mike takes a drill out and he's like, I gotta use power tools or else it's gonna be like a 2-day, job. And he's just like, zzz, he keeps like using the drill, and Chuck is like, oh, stop, and he just keeps using it. And then you have that scene where it's showing like Chuck like he's about to walk over to Mike, but then Mike's like, zzz, he just walked up the stairs. That was such a funny scene. But then he starts taking pictures, and he grabs something too out of Chuck's desk. I don't quite know what it is. And what I also thought was pretty good is this episode showed how good of like a lawyer Kim is, because while Jimmy is like writing his letter of his statement about what happened to the ADA, Kim walks in and she's like noticing this little stuff. She's like, you should probably change it from destroyed victims' property to damaged victims' property. She's like, might be able to get away with that. And I was like, whatever, that's just one of those scenes. And then later on, when they're like having their like meeting and it's all awkward and shit. No, you can just tell that Jimmy's pissed off at Chuck, and Chuck is like, no, I don't. Chuck and Howard are on one side of the table, and Jimmy and Kim are on the other side of the table. And it's been one of those things like they've been working together for the past 2 seasons. Now they're at opposite ends of the table, and it's just, yeah. But I mean, I'm Team Jimmy all the way. I don't even want to see fucking Chuck win. I like Howard, though. I think Howard's a cool character. I did not like him before, but I think he's cool now, even though he is representing an asshole. But basically, when they're in their meeting with the ADA, Chuck is also, he's also a really good lawyer, and he notices, you should change the damaged victim's property to destroyed victim's property. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. And then what made it even more amazing, she's like, is there any more changes you would like Jimmy to make to the statement? And he's like, no, that's it. So it's like you got Chuck and Kim, who are both just so smart at what they do, and it was a great scene. I can't really explain it, but it was a great scene. But then you have this really awkward scene where this chick that's like is having the meeting with them. She's like, Jimmy, I want you to apologize to your brother. And I'm thinking about, okay, I don't know too much about law school or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't force the person to do this. They wouldn't force the person to awkwardly apologize to your brother, because she's like, I'm reading this statement and I'm noticing that there's like no remorse here. Like you want to fight back and you're not sorry for it. It's like a really awkward scene. You're just like, okay, that's a little unrealistic. It's the most unrealistic thing in the episode, but whatever. It's a pretty awkward scene, and you can just tell in the look in Chuck's face that he knows that Jimmy doesn't really mean it. Jimmy still fucking hates him, and it's one of those things. Chuck is back to being an asshole. I mean, he was kind of sympathetic in the last episode, but he's back to being an asshole in this episode. So we got some stuff there. What else? Kim makes Chuck confess to there being a duplicate tape, and I guess they're gonna go somewhere else with that in the future. that happens, and we get like one little scene between Mike and his his dead son's wife. What's her name? I don't even know what her name is. And the little girl. I mean, those scenes are pretty nice. But what I thought was so funny about this scene is she's looking over at Mike and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm thinking, Mike always looks like that. He always has that same look on his face. Like, how are you able to tell that something is wrong? Um, but yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, please comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next review for this season. Episode 5 is the next episode coming out, I believe. Yeah, this is episode 4. So if you guys enjoyed this, please comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.